Evening. It's Michael again. How you guys doing? I ain't done one in a while, I suppose. Um, I'm doing good. I've got 34 days sober and clean, and it's absolutely amazing. I mean, the clarity that I have right now, and just in 34 days, is truly amazing to me. When I got my uh, recognition for 30 days, someone asked, "How'd you do it? How'd I do it?" Now, there's a question. One, it was a desire, right? I wanted to quit. I needed to quit. Secondly, I suggested what people were suggesting, or I followed suggestions, what people were suggesting to me, which was find a program, find a sponsor, work the steps, keep coming back. And just for today, I don't have to pick up and use. Just for today. I suppose that's how I was able to do it. I tell you what, man, it ain't easy. It isn't easy. You know what else wasn't easy? Graduating from high school. You talk about being a kid. I used to tell folks, and I still kind of tell folks when I talk about it, that high school was my playground. Literally, I was able to act like a child. Even though I was a teenager, I was able to have fun, enjoy 4 years of high school to its fullest. I mean, I had some great times. I got popular. That was something. That only happened by staying in a school district for a length of period, for a length of time. That was something. To keep coming back every year, seeing the same faces, growing up with my peers, my schoolmates. That was a sense of security for me. I didn't have much of that, right? I made the best of it. And I found my graduation speech I gave at East Lansing High School in 1995. I believe it was the 82nd commencement speech. I was chosen. You talk about setting, for one to set a goal and then be able to achieve it. It does wonders for the individual, self-esteem, just knowing that you can do something, that you're able to say something, set a goal, achieve that goal, all of that stuff. So when I was 7 years old, I said to myself, believe it or not, I remember doing it. 7 years old, driving up old US 27. I was in a blue station wagon. I think it was a Chevy, but it was like a faded old blue station wagon. But I was driving north on old US 27. I wasn't the person that was driving me to my first foster home, 1984. I remember looking back out the window. And in Lansing, Michigan, they have the smokestacks. They're from Board Water and Light. To me, every time I seen those smokestacks, they were like, it was home. You know what I mean? Like, it was like, I'm home. You get that sense, when you leave and then you come back, it's like a landmark, you see it. I mean, that's what you can do. Every time I see that, even to this day, when I go home to Lansing, I see those and I get that feeling of that sensation of I'm home, right? Well, at 7 years old, that's when it kind of started for me, having that sensation of leaving home, coming home. But I remember sitting in the back seat, passenger side, looking out the window, seeing those smokestacks disappear. I remember saying a lot of stuff, but the one thing that really stuck out was no matter what I do, no matter where I go, if I don't want to live the way I was living at this moment, that I would have to graduate high school. That was a key for me. And I knew that at 7 years old. I don't know how I knew that, but I just knew that in order for me personally to be successful in any capacity in life, I had to graduate from high school. Now, there wasn't nothing wrong getting a GED, but that wasn't working for me. I had to get my diploma. So in 91, I was a freshman in high school. I was going through some things. I had to, I was making a decision whether or not to be adopted. I was living in another foster home. This other family had already moved out of state. They actually lived in Arkansas. And I was going to go move with them. But I was dragging my feet. I loved them. They were great folks, man. But I don't know. I tell you what I was fighting with in my head. I remember when I made that decision too, but I've been struggling with that decision for the past few months. And I came to a decision in the spring of 1991, June. I was actually at East Lansing High School's commencement. And I was in the stands. And I was tussling with the idea, should I stay? Should I go? So the commencement started. And I'm listening. Now every class has 2 speakers, right? I listened to the first speaker. It was all right. I mean, it was good, And then I listened to the second speaker, and I was just kind of like, because their themes really, bottom line, I thought was, they kept saying like, our lives are going to begin right now. They're 18 years old. They had gone to a very prestigious high school, in my opinion, great education facility. And yet, these 2 that were chosen to speak at the graduation was, I just didn't agree with it. I mean, 18-year-olds saying that they were ready to face life and go start living their lives, because they're graduating high school, and I'm just like, what in the hell are you talking about? For real? I couldn't let that idea go. But that's when I made my decision. I guess I made 2 decisions. I said, I'm going to stay here in this district, in East Lansing High school system. And then I made the most awesomest goal that I had ever set in my life. And I was going to give my commencement speech at my graduation, because I felt that what was missing was that life didn't just start at 18, because from where I'm sitting, for me, it started at 4 years old. And here are these 2 individuals, they're young adults, and, And they're just talking about how their life is just now beginning and blah, blah, blah. And I couldn't let that idea go. So in 91, I said I was going to give my commencement speech. Yeah. So I didn't think about it. Quite honestly, I didn't think about it. I didn't think about it until I thought about it over the years, you know, but I guess I really didn't think about it until the night before. So fast forward 1995, Sunday night. The tryout was on Monday in the evening. And I didn't start working on it until about 11 o'clock at night. And if you've been following me, you could go back and watch the other videos, but my sister Diana, I did hers, and she shared it with us. And then, I didn't think I could compete. So anyway, Celeste come in my room and consoled me and then encouraged me to press on. And so it took me an hour from rough draft to finish to final draft. And I want to share the speech with you. This is Michael Rodriguez at 18 years old. Kind of gives you a sense of what I was thinking, where I was at mentally. It was an awesome speech. So, and yes, I did cry. That's something I guess I didn't lose. So yeah. This is what I wrote for my commencement speech in 1995, class of 95. My theme is survivors. Thank you, Dr. Keck, Superintendent, school board members, Mr. Waters, staff, family, friends, and fellow graduates of class of 1995. Today is one of the most important days of our lives. We have spent many years preparing for this day. We can look back at the last 4 years, smile, and say to ourselves, we've made it. We survived. For some of us, the word survive means making it through first hour. It means surviving the lunches in the cafeteria, getting by all the hall monitors, serving detentions and avoiding parking violations. It means surviving computer breakdowns in the middle of the night and book bags left in friend's car the night before a big test. It means surviving Mr. Jones' econ exams. Yeah, we survived 4 years at East Lansing High School. This, of course, is using the word survive in a humorous sense. For if we look at the word survive seriously, we must realize that there are some graduates in the class of 95 who had to overcome much greater hardships than pop quizzes and lost assignments to be able to sit proudly here with their fellow graduates today. These students are survivors in the truest sense of the word. We have students in our midst who barely spoke English at the beginning of their 9th grade year. Students who failed a number of courses due to family and financial turmoil. And students who had to live with people other than their parents, and as a result, had to deal with issues of loss and continuous adjustment. For these students, larger issues and problems took precedence over research papers and paying attention in class. As a result, their grades often suffered and courses were failed. To regain their academic momentum and recovering lost credits, many had to attend night school and summer school Because of their situations, these students were considered at risk of dropping out of high school. If they hadn't been survivors, they would have joined the ranks of the Michigan high school dropout, who now numbers 1 out of every 4. If we had each of these students get up here today to relate their personal stories of courage and perseverance, we would be in awe at the strength and maturity they displayed. 15, 16, 17, and 18 years of age, they somehow managed to survive these challenges. But of course, they can't do that. They can't get up in front of thousands of people to tell the story. Their stories are too personal and not for public consumption. Even though their victories are private, we still can be impressed with their accomplishments. Their achievements are remarkable and commendable, as the highest grade point average and the most sought after scholarship. For it is these students who may be the very first in their families to graduate from high school. It is these students who will stand as role models to their siblings and to their cousins who may be very well at risk themselves. It is for these students tempered by challenges at such a young age who will stride out of this stadium today with a unique sense of confidence and ability to face life's challenges. This district and community should take great pride in these students. They are not your typical honorees, but they beat long odds and should be lauded. There's a lesson here for all of us. Each of these students' personal victory becomes our victory. Their survival and overcoming great odds inspires, uplifts, and makes us all proud. They met the challenges head on and won, and so can we. Each of us will be faced with obstacles throughout our lives. There will be family issues, adversities in college, problems in the workplace, and they will require our very best survival skills. But we're up to the task. We've been blessed with an excellent educational opportunity here at ELHS. We are prepared to deal with life's challenges.